Morning, 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 everybody. Papa J here from Papa J in the Garden. Back to take a look at part of the Thanksgiving series. The part we're about to look at is going to be the Three Sisters. And so let's get to it. Here, what the Three Sisters is simply corn, beans, and squash all planted together so that they can grow together. Squash uses the corn, the beans uses the corn to grow up. Squash covers the ground and keep everything shaded. And the corn does what corn does. But what we're going to do here today is we're going to go ahead and take care of these plants. We're running behind on them. They're a bit smaller than we expected them to be at this time. So what we're going to do is add some fertilizer, add some dirt, and hit them with some goat juice. And what we're going to be using here today is we're going to take this tote right here, and we're going to use simply some compost, some topsoil, and a balanced fertilizer. Once I'm done with all that, we'll come back and mix up a can of fish emulsion, and we'll put that on there, and we'll see if we can't push these things a little bit more. Because the way they're growing here, this is simply whatever nutrition was in the dirt that we brought and the energy from the seeds. There's been no fertilizers, no goat juice, nothing put on these right here. It's been probably 4 weeks now that these have been planted. So we're definitely not as big as we could be. And we're going to see what happens if we can't get these things to go a little better. So I'll be back with you in just a little bit as we get started. All right, everybody. Continuing on. You have to bear work with me. We're working in a small space here. So what we're going to do, we're going to prepare this tote right here. We're going to prepare it for the planting that I'm going to do later today. I have a tamarind tree that rooted to the ground. So we will be up potting it. But right now, I'm simply going to use this pot to mix up the soil that I'm going to put into these bins here. All I'm doing is just making sure we have enough holes for drainage. We don't want any of our roots sitting in water. At least not these roots. Like I said earlier in the video, oh my goodness. Like I said earlier in the video, we're going to be using these products right here, which simply is some topsoil, some compost, granulated fertilizer, and a bit of perlite. So let's see if we can't do this without knocking anything else over. All right. Let's go ahead and dump all these in here, get them mixed up. Only those for that. And we'll do these two here. I'm taking that some perlite to this bin. Probably a quarter of this bag, close to half. And the only reason I'm adding the perlite in here with the Three Sisters is because I'm mixing the soil to plant with later. and it won't hurt a thing for me just to add this little bit in here. So what we're going to do here, just go ahead and get it all mixed up. We're going to add the fertilizer directly to the tote with the corn, and then we'll add the soil to it. Now, if you notice, I poured the topsoil on the bottom and put the fertilizer, put the perlite and the compost towards the top, towards the top. And all I'm going to do is bring some of the sand from the bottom, but I don't want the sand on top because it tends to dry out a lot faster than the compost. Now, if I was not going to take anything out of here, I simply would wet this down, add a little more to it, probably a quarter bag each, and plant my plant in it while it's good and soppy wet. That way, we make sure we have no air pockets. Oh, excuse me. We make sure we have no air pockets and that we get it planted well. It will suck it down in there, dry around it, and plant well. So now, the fertilizer we're using, I told you earlier, is an Expoma. And I think this was a 533. It's a balanced fertilizer. I'm going to add enough that it's going to be more than enough for these plants here. And enough to start whatever we put in these bins behind this once these are done. Now, I've never actually done this before. This is something new for me. So we're going to see how it comes out. If it makes, it's going to be beautiful. If it doesn't, I'm not going to be disappointed. At least we gave it a try. I don't see any reason why it should not make. If you give the plants the right conditions, like I said over and over and over again, they're going to do what they're going to do, what they do, and that is grow. What I'm really trying to do, though, is get these plants taller for the next 30 days. If I can get these up to about 4 feet over the next 30 days, that's going to be beautiful. Right around Halloween time, they have these live corn plants out here when the children come by trick-or-treating. I think that's going to be beautiful. Now, you may ask, why am I adding soil to this? It's 2 reasons. Because I planted this a little bit low on purpose because I know corn blows over quite a bit. It is a grass. So, I planted with the intentions of coming back to add soil so that I could stabilize this corn. I actually thought they'll be a bit larger than they are right now. I'm not disappointed. That big bad hurricane did not blow them away. It blew them down, but it didn't blow them away. So now I get to come back here and add the soil and keep this part of the Thanksgiving series going. I had a couple squash planted. I think what I'm going to do now is go back and plant a winter squash because we are getting cooler here in this area. And it's been a few years since we got this cool this fast, this early in the season. So this may be a cold season for us. I don't mind if it is, as long as it's not too cold. Myself personally, I don't like the cold, but there's a lot of things I can grow in the cold that I can't grow in the heat. In which, as we take a look at the update on the Thanksgiving series later today, we will you will get a chance to see just what I'm talking about. Some things just do not grow well in the heat. Now, as for these two bins, we're just about done with them for the day, all except for watering them in and hit them with the 511 fishy motion. Now, what that 511 fishy motion gonna do is gonna do just like that big bad hurricane did. That big bad hurricane brought a whole bunch of nitrogen down out the sky, and all that rainwater really juiced these up and started them to moving. So I'm going to keep it going by adding the fishy motion, the 511 fishy motion. And I got to give thanks to someone I know who haven't even heard of me yet, but my boy Led Farmer 73. Like when I was watching this channel before I really got started going and trying to do this thing organically, and that's who I found out about that 511 fishy motion, which he found out about it from New Orleans Gardener. So shout out to her as well. If you guys have not seen their channels, go over and take a look at them. They're excellent. I hope mine be as good as theirs one day. All right. So now for this part, we're done. And all I'm doing here is just making sure that I do not have any dirt, any of this dirt, this soil in the leaves, in the joints there. And it probably won't hurt it because I'm going to water it in really well, but I just don't want it there. You might wonder why I have so many in these pots, so many, and how close together they are. And yes, it was done on purpose because I know I can fertilize it enough. And corn actually needs to be bunched together so they can pollinate each other. You can't just plant one row of corn and expect to get a good yield of corn. You need 2, 3, 4 rows of corn, even if they're small and short. They're pollinated by the wind, by shaking. They pollinate each other as well as themselves. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied. I want a little more around you. You're a little bit bigger fella right there. You two a little bigger than the rest, so we can give you guys a little bit more. All right, I am satisfied how that looks, except for you. And a little butt off of that pot. A little more here. Yes. Now I'm satisfied with how that looks. Let's see. Hopefully you can see everything that was going on there. One day I'm gonna learn how to work this camera. All right, so now what we're gonna do is come back and water it in. I'm gonna go ahead and mix up the 511 that I was talking about, and we're gonna get that part done. There's the 511. Where's the water can? Oh, that's not good. I don't see the watering can. Okay, so let's get this watered in real well. Now, just adding this fertilizer as well as this soil mixture that we just did to start these to grow again or faster. Adding that 511 is just to supercharge it. We'll probably do that probably once a week over the next couple of weeks and see if we really can't get some good growth out of it. After, I say 2 to 3 weeks, if we haven't seen significant growth, these things aren't up around 3, 4 feet, we'll just stop doing what we're doing and allow them to grow at the pace they want to grow at. I do not see any way that I'm going to have these ready for our Thanksgiving meal, which is one of the things we were trying to do as well. And I'm okay with that. Ah, there you are. There's that watering can. Now, this product that I'm using, I was warned before I ever got a bottle of it. Do not use it on your inside plants. Yeah, Mr. Lead Farmer, you was absolutely correct. I don't think you want this smell inside your house. So, just in case you don't know what is 511, here it is. It is the Alaskan Fish Emulsion Fertilizer 511. And of course, that's just a nutritional grid, the 511. So here we're going to go ahead and just fill up our watering can. Now this stuff is so good that it only takes 2 teaspoons per gallon to be a proper dose. We're going to do about, right about that much, about 2 tablespoons, so about 3 or 4 tablespoons, really. We're going to do a bit more than is necessary, but it's not going to hurt our plants. We're going to get it filled up here. Oh, wow. Yeah. It's okay if you can't see it. You know what water looks like going in a watering can. I just happen to have an inexpensive 1 gallon watering can. And that's good enough for me. So now that I've added the fish emulsion, as well as the water, I'll grab a stick off the ground, make sure it's mixed up very well in here. Yep, I think that's good enough. And we're gonna douse these, leaves and all. Now I've only been using this stuff about 2 years now, maybe 3. But my goodness, has it made a difference. Back in the day, the only thing you would get close to this is when you had your plants in the ground. You go out there, weed around them, dig around them, aerate those roots, add some of that fertilizer, and all of a sudden you'll get that big growth spurt. That's the same thing that this fish emulsion should do. It's high nitrogen. Well, not high, but it's high nitrogen. And it should start everything to really going. I don't know if you can actually see it, but the color changed as we got to the bottom there. And that's it. We are done with the 3 sisters. We'll come back and take a look in a few days and see if it made a difference. And we'll let you know. That's it for now.